out the podcast. We got the nerd button on repeat and we're gonna smash. Come on in, I assure you that we're open. Shoe polish on our signs cause our locks are always broken. You need that view askew? You know we got you, dude. Showing gratitude and always smiling, never rude. Top 5 movie reviews and what's new. We bringing out the big guns when we coming through. Welcome to the stage. Come on, enjoy the taste. Hurry up, don't come and last. You know we love it, the sacred thing.
Everybody, and welcome to another episode of Live from the Secret Stash. I'm one of 3 co-hosts today, Christian Cortez, joined always by...
I am Michael Zapsik, and sitting to my right is...
Jack Welsh.
What's going on, gentlemen? What's going on, Christian?
Not much. There you go.
Mike's just showing me photos as we're trying... No, you know.
That was pretty cool, right?
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
What's going on?
Good.
Doing all right?
Doing all right. Doing
It was
pretty
okay.
good. Been pretty busy, but...
I just want everyone out. I want everyone out there to know that I'm $3,600 richer. No, I'm not.
For those who watched the last one, they'll know exactly what we're talking
that's
about.
inside baseball, motherfuckers.
How does it feel to be $3,600 richer?
Absolutely the same as being $3,600 poorer. So yeah, it really means nothing to me. So I do want to point one thing out.
Okay.
That you gave me something.
I did give you something. I gave you a thing to read.
This is really cool. And may I read the
Yeah, you can read the title.
so this is called The Highest Score, and it's a script written by our own Christian. I will give it to you, Jack, if you're all right with me, Letty. But I'm gonna mark it up because I've got a pen here. So I'm on like page 5.
So far, so fun.
So far, so fun. I mean, it really is. It's
I would at least.
I got
so.
some throwbacks there. There's some stuff that's, some fun poltergeisty, goony kind of stuff going on. So
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. That script is hopefully, without giving away like too much details, that is hopefully going to be my first movie.
that's awesome.
No way.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
That's there will be news about that hopefully this year, but more so, Carlo knows what's going on.
He does.
He knows where that $3,600.
There you go.
He knows where that $3,600 came
Yeah.
from. Oh my god, guys! If you can let us know in the comments, how are we looking today? Because I noticed things have been off a little bit, and I just want to make sure that the picture is coming through to you guys as crystal clear as we could possibly make it.
Yes.
But if you could just let us know in the comments, that'd be amazing.
Thank you. Yes.
I do have something to report on. Actually, I went to the Joe Kubert School for the open house,
And
it's amazing.
I'm telling you, did you get to go to the old place?
I didn't get to go to the old place,
Oh, bummer.
which I told Anthony that I was like, listen, I might have to go back. Like, if you could sneak me in,
Oh yeah.
that would be amazing. But I went for the open house. I ended up showing up after it was supposed to be over, part of the course.
Yeah.
But Anthony was kind enough to give me and my buddy Ray a tour.
Okay. Pure Christian.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah. All right. Fine. You feel better? You had to just say that part?
Yeah.
You feel
Pretty
better?
much.
Okay. Just making sure.
I feel much better now. Feel $3,600 better. That's me.
Clear, not 4K, but not VHS quality. I will take it.
Yeah.
You know what?
We will.
I'll take it.
We will.
I'm not 4K, but I'm not VHS either.
That's that's a
Honestly,
happy medium that we can all live with.
I'm good with
No
that.
peaks, no valleys. It's just smooth sailing.
Yeah,
So,
no, we're good. But the tour was incredible. So their new building is in an office space that used to be an old movie theater. So all of the office spaces are built into like the old auditorium and all
Right.
that stuff. But the way that they have it all set up and laid out is that it is very much like a school, like a perfect little university where it's like classroom 1 here, you round the corner, classroom 2 there, and it's all drawing rooms, and it's all so wonderfully put together because now like there's a whole bunch of like natural lighting there that makes you want, like the minute you step in there, you're like, I want to draw.
Wow.
Like that's the cool thing is like I stepped into the space and instantly someone who doesn't draw, me, was like, yeah, I'm an artist. Like
at that
I
light.
want to pick up a pencil. But that was also so encouraging with Anthony. He was like, "Yeah, we do even beginner classes here, so I actually might do some like weekend just sketching classes
For you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
no, I mean
myself.
just for you.
Yeah, just
That's
for me.
awesome.
Just because I'm like, you know what? I used to draw when I was a kid, and that place makes me want to learn to do it again. And it's so freaking cool. And then nestled in it is also there's a dope little comic book shop.
Yeah, Dewey's Comic City.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
so
literally right there.
Yeah.
Anthony
And
owns a
then-
comic book shop too. Not just he's like, look, I gotta have some place to sell my shit.
Is
So
this in the university?
It's in the
Yeah.
same building.
Whoa.
the building, it's a block
Yeah,
of buildings.
yeah.
It's
It's a-
amazing.
Yeah, like right next to the school is an art studio that's
It's
always
what,
doing something.
Madison?
Yes, Madison.
Yes.
Which is a lovely town I'd never been to
It's-
before.
It's quite charming.
It's literally picturesque. Like
Yes.
it's like a main street that jumped out of an old movie.
Yes.
Like
Okay,
exactly.
it's really, really cool. And
The
then
old Bailey's Savings and Loan was over there.
also their train station goes unbelievably hard and it's designed for no reason.
Yeah.
Like it's like gothic as fuck.
Train
And
station?
yeah,
Trace-
the
really?
New
Oh, yeah,
Jersey
right-
Transit
right next to it.
Station
It's like,
is
oh,
right
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
Because you're looking and they've got like, you know that this shit was put together
Yeah.
by Italian craftsmen.
Right.
And you're
It's
like,
gorgeous
yeah,
for
right,
New
right.
Jersey
you can
Transit.
you can imagine like Leonardo da Vinci being like, hey, I want more bricks over here. You get them over here. You know? Like, holy fuck, what is Leonardo da Vinci? First off, I heard you've been dead for like 400 years. And what the fuck are you doing here? And why are you
What is going on right now?
Yeah, seriously, this is really weird for me. But
do they have art all over the walls?
Yes.
Yeah.
But like right now it's still a little bit bare because they just opened up. But they're starting to add more and more pieces of everybody's collections and stuff like that. Original pieces,
That's
things
awesome.
that Anthony and
Yeah.
Joe worked on. It's really a dope place. Like if you get a chance to go at least get a tour, go do it.
the original building is amazing. But this, I know that Anthony's that block of stores truly incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just gorgeous.
Oh, he was so excited. Well, just showing us around, he was like, "And this is our new space. This is
Yep.
some of our classrooms." Like
because
he-
because it's new.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
oh my
no,
god,
it's
this is-
exciting.
yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I was giving people tours in here. It's like, even though we all had masks on, it's like, this is really good. If I didn't have this mask on, you would see a big smile on my face. and I mean, it was just like dope to walk
Oh my
around.
god, they killed Kenny, you
Yeah,
best.
exactly. And we should have. So yeah.
No, but it was such a fun experience. Also met the building owner who was just equally as, if not more so, fascinated by its own history. Like, because apparently when it was a theater, it was also home to like offices for all the producers, the directors, and production companies that would come through there. So like he was like, this side used to be where all the makeup people used to be and all this type of stuff. And of course, I was just fascinated by like, where is there any more remnants of the theater in here? And there apparently was, behind some closed doors. There, the old balcony still apparently is in there.
Oh wow.
So, and then as soon as we were leaving, my buddy Ray was like, of course this is an old theater. Look up. And then we look up and there's like a giant gargoyle standing and
Oh,
looking
that's
down
sick.
on her.
Yeah,
And like, this is dope. And it's a wonderful spot. So if you ever get a chance to go check out the school, please do. Reach out. Go learn some education about some drawing comic books.
How long has the Kubert School been around?
Since the 70s.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, they used to do stuff for I don't know if you ever saw like a superhero catalog. And you probably haven't, but back in the 70s, like 78, 79, they had it was a comic book that you could look through, and it's like, oh my god, it's like all your Migos were in there, the books of Neil Adams, Joe Kubert stuff. I mean, and it was all done by Kubert, and it was done by Joe Kubert and all of his proteges,
Right.
all the
right.
people who were doing stuff in there. I was like, oh my god,
And Joe
that's so
Kubert,
cool.
he was mainly like Hawkman, was it?
Hawkman, and he did Sergeant Rock.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He did
Oh,
our Armies
so-
at War, and
Anthony brought us into his office because his
Oh my
office
God,
is
yeah.
also in the building. And Jack is a Ghostbuster fan. Guess what? He drew some covers for him.
he did.
And that's how I found out that he's also mutually, if not just as
I
much,
had
a
forgotten.
Ghostbuster geek
No kidding.
as the two of us.
What
He's
Ghostbusters?
the IDW line.
Oh, okay.
He did some covers for them, but
my
he
God.
showcased some of his work, but also some original Joe pieces
Mm.
that were still hanging up and around. That's
badass.
It's badass.
Yeah.
So please go check it out.
Oh yeah, you should.
How often do they have the open houses?
Well, you can go and see the like if you're not doing anything tomorrow, go to Dewey's Comic City and just take a look in there and say, hey, I work at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, and see if they give you a little bit of a consideration, which they will, I'm sure.
We got a comment from Chad Davis. He's saying hello all the way from Arizona. Cheers, guys. I love your streams.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chad. Much appreciated. Carlo also got a suggestion. You should go full out 90s sitcom and have a clip show before the 100th episode.
Oh my God, that would be really weird, right?
That's really funny because I'm doing the same video for Joe Bodner and his people tomorrow.
Okay, well, you'll see me tomorrow as well.
Exactly.
I will be. Then we're gonna have a crossover episode. Pretty cool.
We are. It's going to be
Yeah.
awesome. This is a question from Insane Films Productions. Did you see the Minecraft movie? I did not. I did not see it yet. It's on my list of things to see.
Okay.
Jack, did you see it?
No, I didn't.
I don't know. It looks fun. It's just not like pulling me in per se yet. But hey, who am I to say anything? I think it's made almost $500 million at the box office already. So
Have you been seeing all like the videos of the theaters going erupts? throwing
that I have
popcorn
seen, and you know what? I do want I want a Mike Zapsik opinion on this. So there's a whole bunch of clips going around about kids reacting to this movie with like certain scenes and stuff in the Minecraft world that they're super excited about. And they're treating it like an event, like huge applause,
like our Endgame.
screaming, like it's their Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
But like the extreme is that these kids are like throwing popcorn and like maybe acting a little disrespectful, which I'm not about.
Like in Ed Wood. a little Ed Wood going on.
A little bit.
Okay.
My take on this is that while I don't necessarily condone the disrespectful behavior, I kind of welcome that attitude at a movie theater. Like I love when I'm watching a movie theater with an audience that actually cares about what it's watching. Like I don't know if I'll see the Minecraft movie, but if I do, I hope I see it with a crowd that cares that much.
Have you ever watched? Have you ever gone to a screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yes.
Like with all the bells and
people,
whistles. Yeah, you need like
quietly.
the toast.
I've never admitted.
That's what I've heard. Every time they'd say toast, they would throw toast.
Or no, I'd like to propose a toast, and everyone throws toast.
Yeah.
So there's that. The Room is the same thing.
Oh, that's what I've done too. The Room is hilarious.
Ming took me to go see The Room in
Philly.
Westwood.
Oh, okay.
And that's the theater that shit happened at. That's where Paul Rudd and Rob Thomas and Kristen Bell and all those people, they discovered The Room at that theater. Yeah. So we went there, and I think it was like the last Saturday night of every month, they would have a showing of The Room at midnight. So we went there, and I mean, it was nuts. They're like, every time you see a framed picture of a spoon, because there are framed pictures of spoons in there, you have to throw spoons. There are people throwing footballs in the theater.
And this is all your stuff you're bringing?
Yeah, you're bringing it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what's really funny, though, is that Tommy got wise to it, so he would sell it at the theater. You could go there, and if you didn't have spoons, you could buy a pack of spoons.
Yeah.
Right.
Tommy Wiseau spoons. And we actually met. It's the first time I'd ever met Tommy Wiseau.
He's a character
and a half, because he was we went out there, and the con promoter, lady named Ginger, she's like, Tommy's really excited to meet you. He wants to do something with you. He wants to do an auction with you. He said something about it. I'm like, how the hell does he know us? It was like second season of Comic Book Man. And she's like, no, he's really excited. So we went over there and like, hey, how you doing? Pleasure to meet you. She's like, did you get a raffle ticket? I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? And zip right over his head. It's like, I'm Mike Zapsik from Comic Book Man. Nice to meet you. And he's like, nice to meet you too. What is this Comic Book Man? I'm like, okay, cool. All right, gotcha. Okay.
Wait, this is the guy who was like, oh, hi, Mark.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Mark.
He's the writer director, producer, and star of The Room.
Right.
Mm.
That is kind of an enigma of a human being.
Yeah.
Like nobody knows really where he came from. He has yet to confirm where he got the money to make The Room. The Room cost allegedly $6 million
Yeah.
to make.
because he bought all the
Oh my
equipment.
God.
He
Yeah.
bought all the equipment.
Yeah.
And then the screening I went to was not only hilarious for the event that it was, Tommy really, you could tell what influences him. And our screening was somehow influenced by Pixar because before the movie played, he played a pilot of his new show, The Neighbors, before before the movie. And it was the most bizarre thing.
He's a pretty bizarre guy.
It was the most bizarre thing I've ever watched. And that was my first exposure to Tommy Wiseau. Not The Room per se, because The Room comes after, but the utterly weird pilot or show that was Neighbors, because apparently there were a couple episodes.
Yeah, he's done like 3 or 4 episodes,
And
from what I understand.
it had the weirdest theme music. Like even thinking about it, it sounded like an off-key version of the Wicked Witch of the West theme song, like
Yeah.
like he would cut to it in the weirdest times. Like it was such a strange screening because
Did it?
I didn't know anything about him.
Didn't James Franco play him in a biopic?
Yes, he
Yes,
did.
Yeah.
He did.
The Disaster Artist, which is actually a pretty good movie.
It was a pretty good movie, and it was because I read The Disaster Artist,
The book,
the book, yeah,
by Greg
Sestero,
Okay.
who was
Oh, Mark. He
he
was
was
Yeah.
yeah.
Hi, Mark.
Just utterly bizarre. But yeah, I've been to those screenings and they're so fun.
They are amazing. So that to me is what the kids want to do. Then let them go. Because back in the 50s, they fucking went nuts. They would throw jujubes at and then people are like, what the fuck are jujubes? Milk duds, motherfucker. Raisinets. How about that?
My thing is, I get it. You have to clean this mess up, but I mean, it's not like they're being forced to. It's their job. And then I know Smodcastle, like the way that they even have their cleanup system with the fucking leaf blower. I'm like, it's not that crazy.
Yeah.
To clean up. I mean, it's annoying
then-
for sure.
Then
But you've got sold out seats.
yeah.
Like,
So the thing that you should be like cheering about is that there are fucking asses in those chairs.
yeah.
So I mean, it's called job security. If you have to vacuum, so what? That's all I have to
Literally,
say.
I'm glad because I really did want your take because I was like, I'm not mad at this. Like
No.
I don't condone, as I said, disrespectful behavior.
No, if
Like,
they're spray
that's-
painting the screen, then
Yeah.
you clip
Then
them and you get them
fucked.
outside. Yeah,
Like,
but not taking a knife to it, and like fucking Joe Piscopo did in Johnny Dangerously. Don't do that, kids.
Mm.
But if you're throwing popcorn, you're getting excited, go to town.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, and don't bring booze in like I used to.
Have you guys ever had a bad movie experience, like where you've had to leave
I
because
left.
either
yeah,
kids or just some BS?
I've only walked out of one movie.
I'm not going to say what happened. No, I've walked out. My father made me walk out of Airplane because he did not like. Yeah, because I was like 10 years
Oh
old,
my
10 or 11. And when the shit hits the fan,
Yeah.
boy, when Kramer hears about this, the shit's gonna hit the fan. When the shit hit the fan, my father's like, "We're out of here." I
Are
was
you
like,
serious?
I'm like, "This is the best part."
Your dad left
Yeah,
when shit hit the fan.
yeah, yeah.
No, that's the
No shit.
well.
Literally. To be honest with you, I was like, "Why are you doing?" He's like, "That's just so vulgar." And my mother was with us. Your poor mother had to witness that, and she's like, "It's a movie. I know that's not real shit. It's brown clay. Come on, what the hell's wrong with you, Bill?" So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mine's a little more reasonable though, because on Airplane I'm like baffled by, but I get the context of the time.
And don't forget that. I mean,
Except Josh.
my father was a little bit of he was a prude,
A little bit.
a little bit of a prude. Yeah.
Son of the Mask, the sequel to The Mask.
Was it because that just sucked?
Well, me and my dad go to see it, and I had only seen like one trailer, and I was like, okay, maybe this might be fun. We sat down 20 minutes in, me and my dad look at each other and we're like, this isn't it. And he then goes, you want to go to Chuck E. Cheese? I was like, yes, let's get out of here. So we left and just went right around the brick plaza to go to the Chuck E. Cheese and hang out.
That's awesome.
I
You have a good dad.
I did have a cool dad, but man, that was those 20 minutes of the Son of the Mask.
And there's one other time when and this one is very reasonable as well. It was Mitch. I took Mitch. He was 6 to go see Iron Man
Ooh,
because he wanted to see Iron Man. 6, yeah, 5 or 6.
2008.
So he's 5. So he's 5, and I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. And he's with me, and he's all curled up. He's got Sour Patch Kids and popcorn, and
He's ready
big
for his
old Slurpee.
experience.
So we're watching it, and it's going great. He's like very into it, and we're over at AMC theaters, and we were in one of those, the 2-seaters that you can hang out in.
Yeah.
And so he's like curled up in my, right next to me, and then Tony Stark gets tortured. He didn't like that. He's like, Daddy,
no.
Daddy, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. And I'm like, okay, buddy. I said, you can hold your ears and cover your eyes. It doesn't last for very long. And he's like, no. So we left.
I've had the same experience when my dad took me to see Spider-Man 3,
Uh-huh.
and I think that was like 2008.
Right.
And I remember it was actually at the Atlantic Islands Movie House before, obviously, Smodcastle and stuff. And I remember watching the scene with the Sandman when they're in the was it like the sewer system or something? And he's wearing the black suit, and he's
He's like pushing him up against the subway
so he's
car.
pushing him up against a subway car, and his face is on. And I just remember like losing it, like it was like the freak. Yeah, right.
That's the guy from Wings.
But I just remember getting upset that my dad's like, "Are you good? Like, are you all right?"
MOON. That
you see what
spells
it is?
Spider-Man 3.
I'm like freaking out, and then something. And then my
Daddy,
dad's
what if I
like,
did that to you?
Did it not like
Yeah.
click with you yet? Like you were watching just a movie, or did you know like a movie, or like
No, because you're about Mitch's age, so that'd be about 5. You'd be about yeah.
I was born 02, so
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
wow?
Because I just remember too, as a kid, the theater was so loud. I remember my dad would bring me headphones.
Oh,
You
so
know,
it was like it might have been too loud.
No,
Okay.
but I remember seeing the Sandman and being like, "Oh, this is nuts! Like this is
Absolutely not.
Like,
No
yeah,
torture
yeah.
here. Oh man, that's wild. The only time I could ever remember my dad like telling me cover your eyes, and he held my ears. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I wasn't supposed to go see that, and he and he was just like, I want to see this movie. Christian, he told me right at the beginning, he's like, Christian, there's going to be points where I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and cover your ears. And he kept his word. There were certain scenes where he was just like, you're not watching that. So, for certain scenes. So,
I can only imagine like taking your 5-year-old to see John Wick and doing the same thing. Because I mean, all right. Iron Man was just PG. It wasn't even PG-13. But you know what? You got to respect a kid who's like, I don't like this, and I don't
knows already.
Yeah.
Like just
And I was like, you know what? You've got your mom's sensibilities. I'm taking you out of here. We went to the All Seasons Diner. I got him. We got a burger. It was awesome. Burger and some onion rings.
sorry for showing you torture,
Did you
son.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Did you end up seeing the rest of Iron Man at some point?
Oh, I'd seen it before.
Oh,
I took him to
okay.
see it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was, and that's, I mean, a trigger, of course, but it's like,
You didn't know it was gonna with him.
yeah. I mean, it didn't trigger me at all. I'm like,
No,
yeah,
no.
you
But
know, I don't listen to the screams of my victims. I could care less about Tony Stark. So,
yeah, you
know.
closed the door behind
Yeah,
you.
of course.
Yeah.
But you got to have, unless you're a fucking monster. It's like, Daddy, can we leave? No. No.
I don't know why.
I paid full freight, buddy.
I I don't know. I just picture, like, I can actually see that. I don't know what that says, but like the idea of Mike being in a theater with a kid who's like, Dad, can we go home? Oh, son, no. Are you going to pay me back for the ticket?
Suck it up, buddy. Yeah. You got $16. Ticket don't, and you know what? You're gonna have to pay for me too, because I'm missing out.
Were movie tickets still like $16 even?
Something like
then?
that. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, my God. Why do you think that the Avengers made all the money in the world? Because they took it from us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
pretty
true.
much.
Yeah.
No, they, you know, it's really funny. I was going through some old files back at home and I found, this is actually corresponding to something that happened that I actually didn't get to talk to you about. I found a ticket stub for double feature my mom brought me to early 2000s, 2 movies that I adored as children. They're not great by any means. Thomas and the Magic Railroad and Elmo and Grouchland. I loved those 2 movies growing up.
Okay.
And I have still the ticket stub from the
awesome.
day. And I cherish it now. But what's cool about that is that in that movie, what in Thomas, one of the actresses was a girl named Mara Wilson who was in Matilda.
Oh my God! Yes, Mara Wilson. She's actually very active on Instagram and
Yeah,
X.
she's still very active now because she took a break from acting and stuff.
She did.
She was in BoJack Horseman. I worked on a thing with her
Did you?
like
now?
2 weeks ago, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it on the. I can't exactly say what it was for yet, but I
Okay.
got to run sound. I got to do
excellent.
production sound, so which was really fun.
Well, I'm proud of you.
The inaugural use of my new sound kit was for Mara Wilson in a documentary where she was talking about her time on
That's awesome.
Thomas, and it was so awesome because she is just as nice. Like she also had some really cool stories about Danny DeVito and just.
She said, actually, from what I understand, she had come out. Her mom was battling cancer.
Yes,
at
during
that point.
Matilda.
And Danny and Rhea Perlman, they took her under their wing, and which is kind of ironic because he's a penguin. I'm sorry, the penguin.
There you go. Correct yourself.
The penguin.
The penguin.
But they made sure that she was taken care of, and they made her feel special, which is right and good and just. And a lot of people like Danny DeVito, when big time, and it's like, go fuck yourself. That's I've never understood that when somebody like moves out of Jersey and goes to California, where obviously your job is. It's like, oh, he's big time. He's forgetting where he's coming from. I've heard like a lot of people like, yeah, Danny DeVito. I'm like, shut up. He's there's this guy.
That knowing what he did for Mara Wilson is enough for me to know who Danny is as a person.
Not only that, but the fact that he took like pay cut to be on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia,
just because he liked it,
and to save their asses, because if they didn't get a name,
they were done.
They were done. They would not get a season 2.
Danny was added in season 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, even cooler addendum to that story, they only had 30 days with him. So they shot all his scenes out of order with him in those 30 days and then filmed the rest of the episodes without him. But like the behind the scenes documentary that showcases this story is chaotic, because think about this. You have Danny for 30 days, but then you're not filming the episodes in all the orders because you're doing it by individual shots. So you have to remember what he was wearing in shot 13 of episode 22 of season 2, and then match all of that. It was like the worst jigsaw puzzle in the world. Meanwhile, season 2 of Always Sunny is one of the funniest when he shows up. Literally, the moment he shows up is one of the funniest bits. Dennis! They reverse and they hit Charlie with the car. Dennis, you son of a bitch! So he literally saved Always Sunny, and it is still going to this day.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And it's still as funny as it. Oh my God.
Still incredibly funny.
And anything that like Rob McElhaney touches is, Mythic Quest.
Yeah. What the fuck, Apple? Like, I want more. And they're like, nope, we're done.
Really?
Yeah.
You cocksuckers.
Apple was
Oh.
like, yeah, we're canceling. I was like, what the? That's one of their more popular shows, and it's
And one of their
hilarious.
yeah, it's one of their better shows. I mean,
Move it to FX. Watch what happens. It'll go on for just as long.
yeah. Oh my god. And
Carlo is saying, where is it? Danny DeVito is a national treasure. Nicolas Cage needs to protect him. Nicholas national treasure. Okay.
and Nicolas Cage needs to.
Protect him. I'd
Yeah.
watch that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
National
you.
Treasure 3,
Yeah.
The Quest for Danny DeVito.
Danny
Uh,
must live. There you go. That's it.
Let's see. What else? Christopher Hewitt says he can't wait for our 100th episode. if we're
Christopher's a
doing
man.
anything
Hello,
special.
Christopher. Hope you're doing well. I hear we're having a clip show.
We're
That's what I
doing
heard.
something.
We don't know. When is what are we on
We're
now?
gonna start. We're gonna start counting backwards. Our episode 100 is actually gonna be 98 because we're
Oh.
99, and we're just gonna start counting backwards to 1.
Gotcha. Well, we had to do like when we were doing I Sell Comics. It was I Sell Comics. We were coming up on 300, and it didn't work because it's a long story, but I kept going 299.5, 299.6.
I ain't gonna lie, I've been kind of doing the same thing.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
But like, it's sometimes I think I keep track, but I'm like, no, this one's 99 for sure.
Okay. So
This
we're
one's
at
99.
99 right here. We're gonna do
Something.
so you know, folks, we're gonna be doing a flash sale, and we're gonna be giving snippets of what we're gonna be putting on there. We're gonna do it a little bit different than the last time. So we're gonna do claim in the comments, and then you're gonna have to follow up with an email.
Yeah, claim in the comments, follow up with an
Yeah.
email. Don't listen to me.
No. You can. I liked your idea last time, but obviously our clientele is a little bit.
Yeah,
Um.
we listen to them.
So we will be doing that, and then 100 will be in May. So episode 100 will be in May. So that'll be fun.
Be a good time.
We'll have to
We'll
bring
do
Jules
something.
back in too. So
Yeah. Drag her
Thanks,
back. Friggin'
I don't know. Stanley Kevin has shit to do, man.
he's a busy dude.
Yeah, he's got nothing to do on like should I go on cable access and whatever the fuck, or should I do something that'll actually make me money? Let me do something that'll make me money.
But if he could, that'd be great.
Yeah, Kevin. He's always invited on here.
Always.
He was
It's
always
not like it's partly his story. Or anything,
Yeah, it's
you know?
not. Yeah, not
It's
like
not
we don't.
like he's right here.
Yeah,
or
not like
anything,
he's
right?
not looking over our shoulder or looking straight at us. Speaking of,
Technically-
can you do me a favor? Go grab those. Something like you haven't even noticed.
No, I've noticed. I've been making eye contact with them on a couple of occasions. They're just
You want to hold
they're
on to one?
striking. Holy
These
crap.
just came in yesterday. They're up on our website if you're interested in them. If you're interested in, no, I can't do it. It's not good enough. But if you're interested, they're signed by Kevin. Header cards are signed by Kevin. Christian, you have to buy that one now because I know you put your tongue in there.
No, I did not.
Yeah, no, I did not. You did. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun and furious. So we were going to do a deep dive.
We are going to do deep dive.
Oh, we are.
We are.
Excellent.
Guys, this is the part of the show where we do a comic book deep dive.
Yes.
This is where we learn some stuff courtesy of Michael Zapsik. Michael
Excellent.
Zapsik, I'm putting on my comics college hat.
Attaboy.
Everybody get ready to ask some questions. Michael Zapsik, what are we diving into
We're
today?
diving into last time we did a deep dive, we did Superman.
Yes.
We deep dove right behind the scenes with Superman. So now we're going to do their opposite numbers, and they're still around today. You know them as Marvel Comics, but back then they were Timely. They were called Timely Comics, and it was Timely Publishing Group, and it was owned by a guy named Martin Goodman. And Martin was like all actually it's really funny when you look at that era of comics, a lot of it was mostly younger Jewish kids who wanted to not be in their father's shadows and not be in the
Step out on their own in a way that was
but
their own.
yes and no, but they were like, we're going to do it, but we're going to do it on our terms. and you had a bunch of these artists. I want to call houses. That's what they called them. Like Will Eisner. Everyone knows Will Eisner.
Mhm.
Created the Spirit. He was a huge, people still love his art to this day, but he had it was the Eisner Eiger House, and it was just a bunch of young kids who were artists who got together and drew, and they would sell them to Fox publications or national periodicals, and these comic book companies would hire these guys to come in and fill out their rosters. This way it made them look bigger, made them look like they had a bullpen, like the Marvel bullpen back in the 60s.
Mhm.
You've heard of them, right? Your dad probably was a huge fan of the Marvel bullpen. It was essentially two people in an office, and it was a very small office, and it was Stanley and, the secretary who answered phones. And then you'd have Jack Kirby who came in occasionally to drop off stuff. And it grew and it grew and it grew back in the 60s, but it started out really, really small.
But with Timely Comics, what's the time frame? What
We're talking 1939. It came out right after National Periodicals, after Superman launched, and was a big success. Everybody wanted to jump on this new superhero craze, because before that it was pulp heroes. We were just talking about this.
I'm raising my hand to
Yes,
get a
sir.
question. So, in the context of Timely Comics and then the Artist's House, but then the publications, Timely was a publication,
It was a publishing house.
house. So then the Artist's House, were they the ones that came up with the characters themselves, or did Timely have a repertoire already
No.
that they were like
Well,
develop?
Yes and no. Like in the beginning, they had people pitching them.
Okay.
You had like Carl Burgos who pitched them, and Bill Everett, actually. Carl Burgos pitched the Human Torch.
Mhm.
This man, it was an android, actually, not even a man. Android made out of fire. And then Bill Everett pitched the Submariner. So Marvel Comics #1, which would later be Marvel Mystery Comics after #2. It'd be that until it ceased publication. No, it'd be that until like 94. And then it'd go to Marvel Tales until Timely became Marvel again. And then they did Marvel Tales Volume 2. But they
Okay.
kept the numbering. For some reason, it was important to have those numbers. Nowadays, you turn around and everybody's got a new #1. Like they just launched another Amazing Spider-Man #1, like Volume 26, whatever it is.
That's really interesting, because that is where I get the most confused when it comes to these comic books.
Yes. And well, you should.
Because like there's so many different #1s, but different lines, and then sometimes it's like, oh, but this line isn't really doesn't consider that last line canon. There's a whole new story to the one that came out like 3 ones before. What?
Yes, that's absolutely
okay.
true. And then you have the ones that like sidestep, like the Superior Spider-Man #1. You're like, wait a minute, Superior. Whatever happened to Amazing?
What happened to Amazing?
Yeah. But Superior was when I'm not going to get sidetracked, Christian. God damn you. But Superior Spider-Man is when Doc Ock took over Peter Parker's body.
Okay.
Yes, swapped brains. So Timely jumped onto this bandwagon, and I say that just because of the historical context that younger Jewish kids got into these things, and even established middle-aged Jewish men, because they had clothing lines. They had the fashion district up in New York. The fathers would, rather than just kick the kids out, they'd bring them into the fold. You'd have like a seamstress on one floor and comic production on another.
What?
Yeah. So you would have like, you go over to the blah 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 building, and there's a whole bunch of seamstresses in.
So was this
1 through 5, and then 6 was the whoever house of art.
So wait, was it laid out like that? Well, I mean, in a view like that, because this was also the boom of comic books, right?
It was the beginning,
the
and
beginning
the
boom.
boom.
So is this basically everybody and their mother setting up a comic book shop if they could.
Setting
because
up
the
a
way-
comic book house.
A comic book house.
Now, don't forget, there's no such thing as a comic book stores don't exist at this point in time.
Newsstands do.
Newsstands do. Squeaky racks do. The spinning racks that I've got. Yes, the ones that yeah, that's the one.
Keep the tradition alive.
And that's what exactly we've got them here. So let me put it into perspective. Superman. Well, no, Marvel Comics #1 sold 800,000 issues and sold out
Wow.
in a month. 800,000 across the United States. I don't even think it made it all the way to the West Coast. It was so popular that they went to a second printing, which is just slightly different from the first. And I think they've got a black line underneath where it says November of 1939.
Would they
So, yeah.
change like the advertisements or anything?
No,
Or would it be
no,
just the
'cause-
same thing.
No, because people were getting,
Because it's still current.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah. So they sold out to 800,000 edition printings.
They would just
So
sell
that's
it out.
nuts.
They're making money.
So that's what 1,600,000 comics that sold,
Mhm.
and this is at a time when nobody knew what a comic book was. You know, they knew what 20 pages.
Now they
were.
do.
Now they do, yeah. And if you had one of those, if you still do, God bless you, because I think only like 150 still remain. Yeah,
Wow.
paper drives. They were very serious about their paper drives back in World War II. Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. Can you imagine coming across that in a comic book collection?
Oh
I
my
think
God,
your heart would stop.
I would piss myself. That's true. So I've got a question by Stanley. He wanted to know how did they work during World War II? They did a lot of the guys were of age and went into the army.
Wasn't
and
Stan Lee in the?
Stan Lee was in the service. Yes, he was. So Martin Goodman was Stan Lee's uncle by marriage. So
Oh,
he
okay.
got a job there when he was 16 years old. His first work in first published work was in Captain America Comics #2. It was a piece of prose work, like one page. They did that a lot because they didn't fully trust that people would get like the sequential art style.
Mhm.
So
I'll be honest. Actually, that's another thing in the beginning for me
Mhm.
that did confuse me a little bit. But then once you figure it out, like the order in which you can follow a comic book story.
I'm talking about a page of just prose.
Oh, okay.
But they didn't think that people, and it's pretty self-evident once you start figuring it out. It's like
once you
cuneiform,
figure
yeah.
it out.
And it's like boom.
I did have one question though. So you said Marvel Comics #1 in its first printing sells
Right.
800,000.
Right.
But is that comic called Marvel Comics?
It's Marvel Comics by Timely.
by Timely.
But
Okay.
it's not. It doesn't
That's-
say by Timely underneath. But
No, in the
it says
top left corner.
Marvel Comics and Timely Comics. It does
Okay.
National Periodical. If you look at the old logos, they originally wanted to have like red and no. They wanted to call it Red Circle Group, which has no bearing on the Archie comics, of which they were Red Circle, the Red
Mhm.
Circle comics, which were like Archie superhero line.
Was this also pre comic book code?
Oh my God, yes. But Golden Age comics had nothing to worry about comics code.
Dope.
Comics code
It's not
came
even part of the conversation.
Comics code came because of McCarthyism. Yeah, that piece of shit. So and
But before
Frederick
we get to
Wortham.
ruin the fun,
Frederick Worthless. So yeah, that gave us the Human Torch, the Submariner, Namor, the Submariner. Who else was in there? I think it was Kazar, which is he would be. It's like Tarzan ripoff.
Wow.
Kazar.
but that's kind of evident in a lot of early comic books. Is
Oh,
that a
hell
lot
yeah.
of these stories.
There was
like-
Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. She was a ripoff of
Isn't
Tarzan.
Black Widow from Timely? Not
No, different.
Natasha.
Not Natasha, but there was a Black Widow. There's the blonde Phantom who was in She-Hulk.
Oh, okay.
She-Hulk comics, not the TV show. Let me see. I'm trying to think. What else was there? The Angel. They had a character called the Vision. No relation, but was an inspiration for Roy Thomas to create the android Vision.
Now, a lot of because I've
Red Raven.
I've learned this from there's a creator I follow on YouTube, Austin, blanking on his last name right now, but he does a lot of work with public domain comic book characters.
Yes.
Is this where a lot of these characters end up eventually because they're just like
Some of them do.
early prototypes of certain?
Oh my God, yeah, a lot of them do, and a lot of them ended up in Dynamite. They did Project Superpowers because you had John Amon, who was, I think, the Green Llama. John Amon. Hold on, let me find out who John Amon was. But
I would totally read a comic book called The Green Llama.
why wouldn't you? He was, and that was a comic book character. So, but they used John Amon in the Immortal Iron Fist.
Really?
Yes, in the Ed Brubaker, Matt Fraction, and David Aja version of. Yeah, pretty cool.
That's actually sick.
Yeah.
I love when those type of characters make appearances.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's always cool to me. That's why I'm always excited when anyone does like a new thing based off of something in the public domain, because I think that is one of our best resources as creators. Like, you can look into that and draw so much inspiration where you won't get in trouble.
Sure.
Like, and have fun with it. Like, you don't necessarily have to make the next Tarzan story, but you can use the framework of Tarzan, no problem.
Yeah.
Because it's there. Same with Night of the Living Dead, Frankenstein, most old monster stories, and a whole bunch of these superheroes.
Yeah.
So that is awesome.
Especially.
So-
So timely and
Timely. We're in World War II.
Actually, we're not even in World War II yet.
Really?
1939, 1940 rolls around. We're a year away from getting into the war, and you've got Captain America 1. You've seen that cover. Cap punching Hitler
Right in the jaw.
right in the pop them one right in the kisser, and right in the mush.
Star-Spangled Man.
So he and that thing sells out. That's Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. So Simon and Kirby create our man Cap, and it's amazing. They've got their big three. They've got Submariner, Human Torch, these two, and they are the first major crossover when they have the Human Torch fighting Namor, which is
so dope.
It is very cool.
So
And then-
those are the first three prominent Marvel characters.
Yes,
Is Captain America, Namor, and the Human Torch.
which are still around today. Yes,
Who Human Torch, who at this point is an android still?
is an android. His name is Jim Hammond,
Wow.
and Cap follows Batman's lead and takes a sidekick in his inaugural comic. Bucky, hey, what's going on? Hey,
Bucky
what's going
Barnes.
on in here? And hey, Steve, you're my buddy. Oh my God, you're turning into Captain America. There you go.
Was
Bucky's
it-
like 14 in the comics, right?
14 or 15,
Yeah.
yeah. Except in later, they retconned him. Ed Brubaker made him 16.
Mm.
So technically, he was a rabble rouser. He
Right.
was an instigator. He was a troublemaker. So his father was killed, in I think he was doing like some exercises and war games, and was killed on that. And he and his sister was sent away to like a boarding school, but he stuck around. Bucky had no place else to go. So
Interesting.
he got into the black market. He'd get into fights with,
So, actually, so then listen, as I've always explained whenever you're doing deep dives,
Mhm.
a lot of my comic book knowledge does come from what you tell me, but
Right.
also just I love the MCU and
Yeah.
to a point. But that the story element that I'm curious about was it that Steve knew Bucky when Steve was still very scrawny. Was that just a movie thing?
it was a
or
movie thing.
That's just exclusively
Just
a movie?
exclusively a movie thing. Bucky, here's the setup for Cap. Cap is the only one of his kind. He was supposed to be like the leader of a platoon
Mhm.
of Captain America's.
Yeah, but only one came
Only
out.
one super soldier came out of it. And they had no idea what they were going to do. And so he started, he became America's secret weapon. So he was given the shield by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, named Captain America by the president. And he was going to be like a spy buster.
That's
And
so cool, man. I love this.
he was supposed to be like this bumbling sergeant or bumbling private in the army. He was
Yeah.
Private Steve Rogers, and that was his cover story. He was supposed to be like, duh, you know,
Yes.
like Moose in Archie. So, but you know, couldn't fool everybody. Bucky Barnes took a liking to him. Bucky was like, "Hey, I'm the camp mascot." Da, 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 da. He was like a little rascal,
Mhm.
is what he was, like essentially a 14-year-old little rascal. And he found out that Steve was Captain America, and to shut him up, Steve let him, come into combat with him. Because why the fuck not? Because it was World War II, and we didn't use all the soldiers we could get.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so he went on, I don't know what kind of fucking training Bucky got from Cap, but he didn't have the super soldier serum in him. So, well, that sounds like pervy, but I don't mean it. That way.
Yeah.
So you've got your big three now,
Mhm.
and so they go on, and throughout most of like the 40s, up until the time GI started coming back from World War II, which is like 46, 47, 48. There's still a demand for comics because it's still up, all this glory and color for 10 cents.
Yeah.
So, but come like 1950, you have a shift. There's the newfangled movies, drive-ins. There are a lot of stuff that's like grabbing the attention of, the youth market.
Youth.
So comic books are not as cool anymore. And superhero comics are right in the crapper.
Wow.
So the only ones who survived, I'm trying to think who survived in
Make it a question to the audience. Anybody?
No, hold on. I remember. Well, it was Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman who survived from DC, and Aquaman. Oddly enough, Aquaman and Green Arrow.
Oddly enough.
Well, I mean, there weren't like the big
Hey,
guns.
Yeah. They're just like, all right, these guys will
Yeah.
do fine.
And-
Meanwhile, Marvel had their big three.
publishing, but Marvel actually timely stopped publishing these guys. So Submariner, no mas. Human Torch, no mas. Goodbye. They kept their romance comics and
The romance.
I swear to God, romance comics like Millie the Model, and we had Patsy Walker,
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
and we also had Two Gun Kid. We've got a bunch of westerns that are still going.
They're trying to skew away from what's not popular
Right.
at this moment.
And Captain America was unceremoniously shelved. So there's no death of Bucky, no nothing. It's just
It's
like
just like-
one. It's like boom, you're done. Because he was fighting the Red Skull, but the Red Skull had shifted to, instead of being a Nazi, he was communism.
Okay.
He was a communist now.
To keep
So-
up with the times.
To keep up with-
Timely
exactly.
comic.
So
I had to. I'm sorry.
just right on everybody on the shelf. So I think it was like took them 14 years. So they plodded along, and Stan Lee worked his way up, and it was like a really dry time. And here is where the comics code comes in.
Yeah.
So you can't, all the horror comics done.
Done.
Can't do effective horror comics. Like all the EC books, done, effectively neutered. Because they had to have a code. The only book that survived from EC was Mad Magazine.
Really?
Yep. Started out as a comic book, then they made it into a magazine. So they
Did
couldn't
it
touch them.
survive? Okay, because it moved
Couldn't
to
touch 'em.
magazine.
Yeah. Magazine, and it was a humor magazine.
Wait, then why couldn't You know what? Never mind.
Why couldn't everybody move to a magazine?
Yeah, it sounds so
'Cause
stupid
no.
to ask because I'm like,
Why didn't they? Because
totally different things?
Yeah.
but
because it wasn't. It was something that they still did because people still needed jobs, and they're like, whatever. And back in the day, you could print like 200,000 of these things and have them return half of them, and you're still making a profit.
because they were doing the paper recycling thing.
Well, no, it wasn't paper recycling. It was that, mostly it was advertisements, and publishing houses got huge tax incentives for publishing.
Oh,
The more you
okay.
publish, the more money you could make, until the 1980s when Ronald Reagan came in and changed all that shit around. So that's why comic books, there were 10 cents for the longest time. For 20 years, they were 10 cents. Then they went to 12 cents. Then they went to 15 cents. And that was like staggered. And then come the 1980s, it jumps up to a quarter. Actually, that was 70s. So jumps up to like 40 cents, then to 50 cents, 60 cents, 75 cents, $1, $1.25, and I mean, we can keep
so
going
on and so forth
until we're here at $4 for a normal comic book, which,
yeah,
I mean, that's a
It's
lot of money
cheap-
to be paying.
it's a lot of money versus back then, but now like it's also some of the cheapest entertainment you can acquire.
Very true. And some of
arguably
it's
some of the best.
Yes. Well, some of it is good. Some of it's very good. So during the Silver Age, the beginning of the Silver Age, we saw nobody. There was nothing. It was very dry over and timely
So
until
what were they working on while at least the big three?
Millie the Model told you.
So they went back to those comics.
That's the only thing that they did. They
Oh,
only
okay.
went to they were doing Young Love,
Anything
and
other than
Western.
superheroes.
Yeah, superheroes were not great. Horror, they did do horror books like Amazing Adult Fantasy, which became Amazing Fantasy, which is where we get Spider-Man.
See,
But
that's so cool to me. Like, pun intended. It's the little web that you find these things along. It's so cool. Stanley has a question that I actually can help answer a little bit,
Go ahead.
and it is: when were the first superhero movies or TV shows? From the beginning. Like the minute that they saw that there was popularity in these, that the first was serials, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The first were serials, which were like based on Green Hornet. There was one for
No,
Superman.
they were radio, but
Radio. Okay,
yeah,
that's
they
right.
did do Green Hornet, Superman, Batman had his, Captain America was
Captain had one.
Yeah, he had one. There was no, I mean, Human Torch would have been problematic at best. I mean, like a dude on fire for like 2 seconds at a time, maybe.
Even when we got Human Torch, it was still like, yeah, the effect don't look great.
Yeah, it's like holy crap.
Well,
But Captain Marvel,
okay.
the original Shazam. I mean, he was Captain. He was the original Captain Marvel.
Yes.
I'm trying to think who else was in there.
But like but the idea of superhero shows and movies has been around for just as long as there have been superheroes
Just about,
and
yeah.
shows. Like they all coincide with each other. When one format realizes something is popular, the other format will then jump on it.
Of course.
But then coinciding with the fall of these things, once these shows start to not be, well, the comics at least, not become popular anymore, a lot of these serials kind of go away.
Yes. And
Like nothing really survived into the 50s. I think maybe Superman did.
Superman did, because we had George Reeve.
Yes.
And
But
yeah,
that just goes to show how popular that character was. Marvel, I don't think really had that yet.
Marvel had not had. Marvel didn't get anything until, they didn't get much traction until the 70s.
I would say 60s and 70s, but I hear you.
60s, the Spider-Man cartoon. It's the cartoons. And the popsicle sticks, Marvel superheroes.
Mhm.
If you ever saw those, and I know you have,
Yeah.
the cartoons were just like, they took the backgrounds and it was awful. They were awful, but they were awful fun. And they had some great voice actors, because Namor and Tony Stark were both Dean Wormer from Animal House. John Vernon.
Great
John
soundtrack
Vernon,
to
yeah.
that show.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's sick. So
And also the guy who was J. Jonah Jameson was the Red Skull. Yo, Star Spangled Fool. You know, so it's like, oh my God, that's awesome. So, and then in the 70s, you had they actually did an incredible Doctor Strange made for TV movie with I think Peter Horton and Lucille Bluth was Morgan Le Fay. Jessica, not Tandy. No. Jessica Walters. I'm sorry. Jessica Walters.
But
She
a
was
Doctor
fantastic.
Strange TV movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was far superior to anything they'd put out up until Benedict Cumberbatch.
This is probably a sillier question then, but if you don't know, it's totally fine. What was the first Marvel TV show then? Because
I want to say it was Spider-Man because it was Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man, and then there was the Incredible Hulk.
The animated Spider-Man?
No,
or
there was a live action
action
Spider-Man.
The one on the Electric Company?
No, there was a live action Spider-Man. You are woefully ignorant, my friend.
No, but wait.
Woefully ignorant.
Wait, which live action?
That's
Spider-Man?
Nicholas Hammond played Spider-Man. Go ahead, you can look it up. And it had Ellen Brie she would go on to be a murderess on St. Elsewhere.
Wouldn't he only climb up walls?
Yes.
Like I remember he would rarely shoot his or you never see
No, his
swing
web
from
shooter.
his web.
His web shooter was like it was like one of these cans.
But when he
like-
yeah,
I was like, holy shit.
yeah.
It was awful. And then we had the Incredible Hulk. I think it was, Spider-Man 70s, man. Amazing Spider-Man. Or
Oh,
Spider-Man.
1977.
Yeah.
And there was a Japanese
yeah, I
one
forgot
too,
about
wasn't
this.
there?
There was Spider-Man.
I thought this was released in theaters in Japan.
Maybe.
Is that what? Oh, yeah. It's the first Spider-Man film made by Columbia Pictures, 2 sequels.
Uh-huh.
Holy crap.
And they had it on television. Why is he on there?
Wow.
Why is he there? Is he trying to get in touch with you?
Yeah, always.
All right, good enough.
Let's see. Written by Alvin Boards. Why do I know that name?
I don't know. Why do you know that name?
Because he's written on just a whole bunch of old TV shows that I know.
Of course you do.
So a lot of ABC movies.
So yeah, I think that came out before
Okay.
the Incredible Hulk. Not quite sure. Was it?
1977. So
And the Incredible Hulk came out in what year?
Incredible Hulk TV show with Bill Bixby, right?
Yes.
1977.
Oh, so they
So
were
same
concurrently.
year.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So there we go.
I wonder which one.
And they
popped
also
off.
had a Captain America TV movies with Reb Brown, and they were, oh my God. Oh my God. That's what they, I mean, I love Reb Brown, but oh my God. So I'm like, holy crap. Because if you look at his costume, he's wearing like a biker helmet with wings painted on the side.
The one from the 80s, right?
No,
His shield-
70s.
And his
It's
shield
even-
is like see-through or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
And it's just,
It's like oh my God.
and
that
I've got
sounds
one, I've got
horrendous.
a replica of it upstairs. Yeah. So yeah. So Timely would go on to become Marvel because Stan Lee was thinking of quitting his job with his uncle's company, and his uncle said, "Why don't you?" Actually, his wife, Joni, said, "Why don't you go out with a bang? Write something that you would be proud to leave your
Yeah.
mark." So he wrote the Fantastic Four. And he revitalized the comics industry, at least for
Wow.
Marvel Comics. So yeah,
Go out with a bag, drops Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Just all right.
Now, were they the first superhero group, or was Justice League already a thing? then?
Justice Society
Justice
was the
Society.
first
right,
the first superhero
right.
group. Then and we had the All Winners Squad, which were the big three and a bunch of other people, like the Wizard.
Oh, okay.
The Wizard. So yeah, so now Marvel is the juggernaut it has become, and yeah, God bless them. So
Wow. The first big 3: Captain America,
Human Torch,
Human Torch, and
Namor,
Namor.
the Submariner.
Now that I almost wish that Namor got a solo movie first. Now
It would have been awesome.
because now I'm like, I loved his appearance in Black Panther. Don't get me wrong, he was a dope character, but I'm like, now knowing the significance, I'm like, that's a solo film, bro.
You should have been, yeah.
Like that's literally part of your first big three.
Yeah.
And he shows up as a side villain in Black Panther 2.
Yeah, I thought that was shitty too.
That's
a
that's
little
not
disrespectful
right.
to the character, and they could have done
That's
something.
disrespectful to the legacy of that movie too, because it's like that everybody knew going into that whole movie was going to be like just grief over Chadwick Boseman,
Mhm.
and that was the hovering thing over it, and it should have been. I mean, of course,
Yeah.
But then putting Namor in there, it's like I can't really enjoy this as much as it
Yeah.
is. Like this is a sad movie to begin with.
Right.
Ah, man,
I know. I'm with you.
that's
And they did the Human Torch dirty too.
well, yeah.
He was just a little prop piece in Captain America: The First Avenger when he was at Stark Plaza, the World's
Oh,
Fair.
man.
Like, hey, world's first artificial human. So,
But I am
Yeah.
excited for the new Fantastic Four, though.
yeah,
That looks to be a step in the right direction.
We'll see, cousin.
I'm putting a little sauce, okay? Just a little thing.
Exactly.
But that's so interesting because I love how it's very much a company that just adapted to the time, still following the model of like what was popular, of course, following the trends, but like still creating what they wanted without the comics code up until the point.
Well, actually, they ditched the comics code back in the 2008, 2010. Joe
Really?
Quesada's like, fuck this noise. He's
Oh,
like, nobody cares about it anyway.
Because who
was
was enforcing it?
Yeah, no one, because no one cared anymore. That's like the
So wait, they created a
motion picture
boogeyman
rating.
that they didn't even really have any like oomph behind.
No, they did because of McCarthyism. I told you.
But can you imagine if they had realized that sooner that there was
No, they
real
always
boogie-
knew it. They
Really?
always knew it. You can't do that. You can get like not fined, but if you have one of those little it was a comics code. It was a little label that they put on there, and you're like, wow, this is backed by the comics code. Who gave a crap? Not me, and not like my mom might have screamed. Actually, not even my mom. My dad, who had problems with shit hitting fans, he would have screamed. You're reading this trash. He
Was
would have
it
been like Tom Atkins in Creep Show, like slapping me around.
What a good reference.
Yeah, I know.
But now that's just crazy to me because I'm thinking now of all the what could have beens
Of course,
had the comic book code not popped up.
Of course.
Like
If EC had gone like whole hog, they could have gone on for like another 5 or 10 years and just. But I guess shit has to happen for other things to happen.
yeah, because you never know what fully could happen in that hypothetical timeline.
Right.
For all we know, Marvel could have fizzled out
Yeah.
just as quickly, or just like any of their other rivals probably had, because there were other
There were
comic book companies.
many other comic book companies, of which we'll do a deep dive on, and we'll hit a bunch of those next time. Yes.
What a cool deep dive!
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
that was
liked
awesome.
it.
That was
Thank
really
you.
cool.
I had fun.
I love the history of Marvel because it is still like yeah, let's ride the trend, but let's have some real fun with this.
You know what? They did that. Marvel did that in the 70s. There wasn't a fad they didn't jump on. I swear to Christ. Blaxploitation movies. Luke Cage. Chop Socky Theater. You betcha.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi and Iron Fist. Because, hey, who doesn't want to like co-opt, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy who's the master of the martial arts?
Yeah, but like that's I guess where you could argue that's where some of the charm comes from. Is like
A little bit, yeah.
a little like they may not have come from the most pure of places, but you create characters that people see themselves in. Like
Of course.
Luke Cage may not have come from the best place, coming from blaxploitation flicks, but I love blaxploitation movies. And then I'm like, oh, it's a character that looks like somebody I know.
Yeah.
And I for one think Luke Cage is one of my favorite comic book characters.
Luke Cage is
So,
one of mine as well. And which, I mean, it's so weird because it's it was one of my favorite Netflix Marvel shows.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I love Daredevil, but I'm like watching and I'm like, holy shit, this is, I mean, it's amazing. And the fact that they named every one of the episodes after a jazz song, I love that. I'm like, holy shit.
That's why of all the shows that like are coming back, if I know they've confirmed that Daredevil, the Netflix show, exists in the MCU and all that stuff, please, Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Because that version of Luke Cage was dope.
Yes.
I'm glad Netflix never got bought by Disney because I'm not a Monopoly fan, but at the same time, that created such a weird problem for those shows moving forward because I'm glad Daredevil came back. I'm glad Punisher came back. I hope Jessica Jones comes back. I hope most of them do.
I would love to see those guys. And did you watch the finale last night?
No, I'm saving it.
Okay. All right. Well, then we won't talk about shit. All right. So.
We'll talk about that soon. Unless you put in some Daredevil comics in the Flash sale we do next week.
Right over there. Sure, I will.
And then that'll give us
2 weeks
to talk about it. Sounds good.
2 weeks.
Do we got anything else to promote before we go?
Yes. If you're in town this weekend, if you're in lovely Red Bank on Saturday, go see our good friend Chris Covert over at the Vogel Theater.
He'll be performing.
He will be doing a live comedy set.
Brand new set.
Brand news. You?
Cool. Friday is Superman Day.
Friday, Superman Day. So
What's
come down
the-
for some free Superman comics.
That's dope.
Yeah, we'll give you some Superman comics. Maybe.
Well, I'll see you guys next time. Silver Knight Kyle just joined in.
Thanks, Silver Knight.
Thanks, Kyle.
Hey, Kyle. Have a great night.
Have a great one. Oh my God. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Live from the Secret Stash. As always, it is a pleasure to be here. My name is Christian Cortez. This is Mike Zapsik, and that's Jack Welsh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Later.
Hey kids, we're live at the Secret Stash with Mike, Julia, and Christian. It's the Hella Bash.